Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, YouTube. My name is Melissa LeDuc, and I am founder of Turn Leaf Movement. This is my first time alive on YouTube, so I bit the bullet. Bear with me. I'm hoping that you can hear me. I'm hoping that everything is working as it should. It appears that my camera is on. It appears that my microphone is turned on. But me with technology, I'm just going to warn you right now. It's a learning process. It's a learning curve. All right, so bear with me as I learn this new platform. Um, what is this all about? Okay, I have launched Turn Leaf Movement. Okay, and really, what this is about is I go live here. Well, my practice per se is mental health, psycho-spiritual approach. I am an international counselor. I work in addiction and mental health. I specialize in addiction and mental health. Um, and I also was pretty much heavenly. I was heavily guided to sorry, I'm just noticing that it's kind of backwards. Typically, I'm live on Facebook. Okay, so I feel like this is a little bit backwards for some reason. It looks different. So, anywho, I go. So I'm a full-time counselor during the day, kind of your Monday to Friday grind per se, and I also was heavily guided to create my own platform here on the online world to impact more, impact many. All right. I share personal stories. It's authentic, it's real, it's raw. I also have, of course, my theory and my modules and my practice that, I like to think I am skilled in this form as well. And I have my quantum, my guides, angels, ascended masters, this quantum world that is actually getting louder and louder as time evolves here, as consciousness raises in the collective. I have my backup, my co-facilitators. They're quite strong, and especially within the last few weeks, couple months here, but particularly in the last few weeks here after Lionsgate. We just had, fall equinox as well. Really, the channels are open. There's no denying it, and living in authenticity. So I am guided and geared and intuitively pushed to really incorporate more of the intuitive, spiritual, quantum assistance that's available to the collective right now. Really getting on to these platforms. And sorry about that. The wind blew the door. So if you heard that, that's just the wind, the door. I've been guided to really bring forth the co-facilitation of the guidance that we do have. So I have both the skill, the practice, the theory, a lot of letters beside my name. I don't care. It's all labels, right? We're getting into a world right now that it's the value of prestige, positions and titles and labels are not going to be as predominant as they have been in the past. And that is because we are leading with equality, we are leading with compassion, we are leading with healing the collective. And so that's why I'm here. All right. Like I said, I've been more active on Facebook. So I put in the description my Facebook page. There are many. I went live there. So I think we're on Tough Talks, episode 22 today. Here, first one, 2 2. So that's nice. So if you want to check out, I will eventually be uploading my past Tough Talks to this platform, but it takes time because I go an hour live every Thursday at noon. I am in Canada here, Ontario, Canada, so it's Eastern Standard Time here. Um, and so a lot of content there, tons of content. Also, I had my top 10 for 30 days, which I believe I have up here as well, anyways. So go back and check out this content. I speak about this inner world, the mental head chatter, the shitty committee, the anxiety that you experience, the repetitive thought loops, the fear, why you're feeling like the way you're feeling, why you can't sleep because your thoughts just can't stop. Um, Boundaries, being able to effectively communicate with your loved ones, but not only being able to effectively communicate, but checking in with yourself ultimately. I'm always going to say, and I've always said, the ones that are chiming on and that have been following me for a little bit, my platform and my following is greater on Facebook. So my followers there, they're gonna, it's the same message, is you are not going to be getting out of any of these challenges that you're experiencing, the heaviness of the energies, the internal clutter, the internal catastrophes that we're feeling inside, many of us. We're not going to get out of it unless we go within. And that is the huge push from the quantum world here. The collective is, there's so many distractions out here, right? The world is extremely distractive and it's fear motivated. It is, we've been oppressed for millenniums at this point. There has been systems in place and energies in place and people in place that enjoy the power and the control and the status of being in charge. And so a few of them, okay, the majority of us here, when we're looking at world numbers, we're well above, the 8 billion at this point. The majority of us at this point, we're really feeling this, and it's been like this within the last 20 years, kind of going in waves here, as Dolores Cannon would say. There's waves of energies that are coming in right now that are the lights are being turned on to say, well, that doesn't feel right, that doesn't sound right. The intuition is coming on, the internal conscious compass is coming online. And for many, especially when you first start experiencing this kind of rattling, it's really, really, really uncomfortable, because we operate based on our core beliefs. We operate based on what we've learned, what we've known, what we experienced. That's how we operate. And so many of us, I'm 40, and up until about a few years ago, I was absolutely playing in all of the illusions, per se, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, falling into the status of what the majority are doing, believing and following suit, with what I'm told how to do it, even though we're kind of chiming into ourselves and saying, wow, I don't really want to go to school for, you know, 5 to 7 years to get a degree, and this doesn't feel good, or when you're in it, it just, something doesn't feel right. Although I loved school, that was my safe place based on my upbringing as well. But the collective growing up, if they didn't do what they were told, you got some black backlash. You didn't fit in. So your identity shift. There was an identity shift to fit in. We are a species of love and inclusion, and we learn from one another, and we we eat together, we live together, we learn together, we pray together, we believe together. And the world has been quite sick within the last couple hundred years. It's been mainly masculine dominated. I'm not saying male or feminine, it's not female, it's no genders here. Although, yes, the male, we see that there is a masculine presence, but it's really the domination of that belief of I am higher than you because I have this much money in my bank account. I have all these materials, boats and houses and trips, and I own you and you work for me, and these are your rules and these are the world's policies, and this is what you need to get and spend your money on in order to be in this field, get your degree, or you can't get a job in this field. It's really, and then go ahead and get yourself into so much in debt. Another warning here, I do, when I get in flow, because these are unscripted, I am not following is going to come out. It's a high frequency word for me. I d It's an intelligent word. So anybody that tells you that swearing is not an intelligent form of communication, we'll just leave it there. So being able to really see all systems at this point, all everything, being awake to how majority right now, it is shifting, how majority of systems, majority of the rules, majority of um uh, of the world's forum per se is based on do this or this will happen. You have to behave in this way or act in this way or receive this or what have you. And I'm not going to use any words because I, even though I'm just fresh on YouTube here, I also know, I know the censor, I know the words I'm not allowed to use, and I'm pretty good with that. I'm pretty good with censoring myself. But my followers and my tribe here, my family that will jump on, it's, you can see it. You can absolutely see it when your lens is is a little bit, the filter on your lens is got a little bit of a cleanse, okay? Because of our upbringing, because of our innate desire, and not even, it's not even logically innate desire for survival. We changed our identity for others. We behaved and dressed and looked a certain way to fit in, to be accepted. And that's from our parents. Being able to believe in something, whether that's religion, whether that's your studies, whether that's health, whether, I mean, this could be across the board, what your interests are, whether you did sports, whether you were in the arts, what, I mean, you can think about it. You're going to be able to sit down with yourself and be able to really sit down and say, shit, like, I know the clients that the individuals I work with, they said, listen, if I followed what I valued and what was important to me, yeah, no, I there would be abuse. There would be backlash. There would be punishment. There would be shaming. And then what we do over the years and years of being programmed by our family, by our caregivers, and they did the best they could with what they knew because of what happened before with their with their parents and their upbringing, and then before. So it's a lineage. Okay, this is inherited. All right, it's in our DNA. It's in our muscles and our bones and our skin and our we get this carried with us because some of the traumas that the collective has experienced within even the last 100 years. I'm not even talking about way down the line here. I'm not talking about, I'm talking even just, let's just stick within the last 100 years here, because I can go pretty deep in this. We feel that, we take that on, it becomes our lens, it becomes our core beliefs, and then we operate from this. And today in 2023, and especially within the last few years and ongoing, it's going to get really heavy here. I'm noticing not only within myself. All right, I'm not going to get too deep in that on this one, because I definitely touched upon my history in previous lives, tough talks. So, like I said, there is a basket of an array of good content for tough talks on my Facebook page. That is very easy to navigate because it's all titled and described. But what we're noticing right now with the collective um, is we're just being rattled. There's turmoil, internal turmoil. So what worked for you, and I don't even want to say what worked for you in the past, because many of us, because we were suppressed, oppressed, we're just really judged and shamed if we did what we valued and what was important to us, but was not important to, let's just stick with the family. um Loneliness kicked in, confusion kicked in, helplessness, feeling helpless and hopeless. Not to mention the verbal, and for many of us, the physical abuse, the sexual abuse. That's in us. Okay. Um, and we've been in a limbo per se. That's what I'm feeling right now, and what's coming in for me right now is there's been a kind of a holding chamber is what comes to mind right now. I'm getting some good goosebumps in the back here. So it's definitely, it's like a holding chamber. The collective was in a holding chamber per se, and there's a reason for this. But you were able to tend your jobs, have your children, have your kids, and be able to sustain your baseline behavior for per se was, yes, I have depression. Um, I can't sleep well. My anxiety is mainly at about a 6 or 7, just baseline. That's my normal. Um, Me and my partner are, we kind of like roommates. There's not much communication there. And if I did communicate, either there was retrieval, so avoidance, or there was backlash, so projection and resentment. But you were able to, yes, you sat in tears. Yes, you sat in lack. Yes, you sat in this victim mentality for survival. I mean, many of these homes, you're thinking in your head, like, if I don't stay with this partner, then I don't have a home. And you put children on top of that. So you were able to, throughout the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, be able to sit in this kind of holding chamber that I'm not saying was easy. That's not what I'm saying. But you were able to sustain what you had in your life, including your job. I'm not saying you were happy, but it wasn't to the point where you were literally, um, you were literally about to leave it all. It wasn't extremely loud. It was just kind of a background, constant head chatter, constant reflection, constant self doubt. But it was at a level, and I'm being kind of shown a gauge here. So it was at a level maybe, 2 to 5. Okay, and that can go to a 10. I'm not saying that it didn't, but for the collective here, um, it was at about a 2 to 5. And what I'm seeing right now and what I've experienced personally and with the individuals I work with, We're looking at a 5 up. We're playing in the more of the louder signals. So your job, if you're not in alignment with it, if your higher self and your purpose, what you are on this earth to do as per your oversoul and contract here, if you are not in alignment and it is the energies of where you work are dense, the conversations are just, they don't feel right anymore, even though, and there's tons of gossip, there's drama. And although before, let's say you've been in the job for 10 plus years or 5 plus years or up, you've been able to, all right, you go home and this is the way the day went. And yes, but it's getting so loud right now that even people are losing their jobs. So whether they're being laid off, they're being fired, or your conscious, your awareness is getting to a point that you feel like you can't even breathe anymore in this job, and it's because your higher self and the parts of you are coming online now so loudly in order for you to align with your purpose here, align and heal what has happened and what has been ingrained in you in this life. Let's just stick with this lifetime. There's kind of a nudge. There is a nudge, and that nudge is kind of getting to a, hey, we got to get out of this. We've got to get the systems, but you're not going to change these systems and the people in these systems going out there. It's not going to happen. That is huge. And that is an illusion in itself. Okay. And I'm not saying the people that are advocating and speaking out, by all means, there's a place for that. But who comes first? So, what you're focusing on, if you're focusing on your partner, if you're focusing on the systems, if you're focusing on your boss and the rules, and you're focusing on everybody else, and you're going like this, I feel anxiety and I feel depression and I have addiction and I am here because of everything out there. Right there, that's the lens in which you are focusing on, and so you create more of it. And it's a quantum world. So what you focus on, you create. What you focus on, you create. And it's not being aware. Awareness is a whole different thing. Awareness is a must. It's the attachment of what you are aware of that sets the frequency and the reality for yourself, for your world. And then it sets up the reality and frequency for the collective. We've created this. It's not just the few people that are running the show. The collective has created this. So that's why I say, if you want things changed within your schools and you want changed within your household, start with your household. And people don't want to hear that. People, we want quick fixes because of what we've been through. Our central nervous system, and it just fires off, it fights and flights. Our brain is like, oh my goodness, like look at what's going on in our world here. What's going to happen with our kids and our grandkids? And that automatically, what is driving that thought? Fear. It's fear. And if you've been in fear, if that's been your baseline behavior, which is the case for many of us right now, you're going to get more fear. It's going to bottle up into more fear. The surrendering and the trusts are not even in your surrendering. I have to control. If I don't control this, then something's going to happen. Something's going to happen to myself, my kids. I got to save the world. You're going outside of yourself. Awareness is key. So if you are out and about in these pockets of energies, really, because that's what it is, it's all energy. and in planting yourself within these energies to create a change, God bless you for it. Um, Check yourself and how you are feeling. Are you shaming? Are you blaming? Sure, yeah, you're not wrong. You are absolutely not wrong. There has been things that, and continue to be things done to the collective that is it's not short of genocide, and it's not short of active war. It's not short of torture and and really just putting the collective in a place of being stuck financially, emotionally, health alone. Come on now, if you weren't sick, you didn't have all these labels and symptoms. Come on now. The wheel wouldn't be turning too fast on that end, if you know what I mean. So, if you are not well while you advocate your beautiful souls, if you're not well, if you are angry, and if you are feeling so much resistance, and I can see why you would, but if you're feeling so much resistance within this role that you're taking on, that's the opposite. That again, it's that's the trick. That's what they want. Be in fear, fight me, let's fight, let's separate, let's judge, let's shame. We're over here and you're over there, and this belief's over here and that belief's over there. Fear. Awesome. So if you're able a baseline neutrality within, and many do. I've seen some amazing souls and soldiers within the last couple years take a stand and advocate for us, and that's beautiful. I don't know what's happening behind closed doors, of course, but it appears that there's some evolution there. There's some change, and I'm really hoping that the individuals that do stand up for our children, especially, um, and just for the collective in general, in order for us not to be led in a fear-based mentality anymore, and literally held hostage to our homes and to what we should be doing and how we should be doing it. Um, like you're, it's that is that's the purpose that you have taken on in this lifetime. Being able to come back and check in with yourself and say, did anything come up for me? Am I angry? And anger is okay though, but is it really, am I attaching to it? And that's where the attachment theory comes in. Is ultimately you will absolutely feel anger, you will absolutely feel frustration and confusion and everything on that emotional compass scale, from high frequency all the way to low. That is duality. That's where we're at right now. Okay. um Being aware, and this is where this platform, internally movement, comes in, because there is constant movement, constant shifting, constant energies can never stay out in one place. We are able to sit in suffering, we are able to sit in pain and to be with it and to recognize it, and to and if you did have a platform where you spoke up on behalf of a body of whatever sort, whether it's health, education, or governments, or whatever that looks like, and you were able to stand strong and use your voice and your wisdom and evidence and all that was for you, be able to come away from that experience to take care of self if anything came up for you. That is, and this is in any circumstance. If we are triggered and we attach an emotion to the scenario, we're stuck. We get stuck, and it stays in our body. All right, it stays in our body. We don't feel well, and then we cope with food and alcohol and drugs, and we cope with taking it out on our loved ones. because it's so loud. And so, what Turn Leaf does, and what I represent, and what I stand for, is being able to look at it all without trying to fix it. And that's the trick here, is if we can at least sit with ourselves and look at the parts of us that come up to protect us. We have shamed these parts for our life here. We've shamed them. So if a challenge or a trigger comes up, what we have done in the past, we've judged ourselves. We've shamed ourselves. We have resorted to things outside of ourselves to cope because it hurt too much. We didn't sit with these parts of ourselves that were quite loud, that are quite loud. You're just not enough. You always buck up. You always um, can't do anything right. These are the messages and the affirmations that came from outside of yourself growing up. What happens is you take these parts on with your journey, through your journey, and they get really loud in your adult life. And dealing with these parts of you hasn't been effective for you. And that's why I've got individuals that I work with are are not well. Their beautiful, authentic self has been covered and layered and molded on top, what has molded on top of their beautiful selves, their authentic selves, before all these experiences and stories and scenarios got played on your life stage, before these roles came in. You're still sitting in the audience saying, I'm still here. And that's that higher self. The higher self is that beautiful, untainted part of you that loves unconditionally, self loves unconditionally, that forgives, that consoles, that is curious about yourself and curious about others. It's compassionate and kind. But with all these experiences that you've had that have taken a very dramatic scene in your life's movie here, on your life stage, these are parts that come in that you don't want to look at that. And you could have been in much therapy, counseling, trauma therapy, and that inner child work and such. Um, and that's amazing. Being able to nurture and look at this inner child that has been hurt and wounded. And a little bit of a different approach here is, not only do you become aware of it, so that's the first part, but you're able to care and nurture for these parts of you. And the codependency that comes in, the anger that comes in, the helplessness that comes in, the lack mentality, that part that comes in, the ashamed part, the anxiety, the overwhelmed, you're so overwhelmed, the controlling part of you. And we want to control, well, because because you you couldn't you were felt so out of control growing up. Everybody around you controlled. So if you didn't control what you said and what you did, and the people around you, telling them to keep it quiet because they were triggering a caregiver, you're triggering dad or mom, and violence arose. So you said and you did things to not rock the boat. You bring that into your adult relationships. You bring that into your jobs. You bring that into your home. And so what we're doing and where we're heading now is learning to be aware, showing awareness of why these parts are coming up for you and what they need you to know. It's like being in therapy with a relative. And I don't want to say therapy, because this is healing. This is, this is, I don't want to label anything, but I know the collective, understands that. But it's really like being in a working healing relationship with a sister, with a daughter, with a son, with a husband. Um, but being able to get to know these parts, so you literally, there's a different relationship that you have with them. And there's four aspects that come up while I'm doing this work, and it's not comfortable. People don't want to hear this shit. They really don't. They want quick fixes. We're in a world that literally, even with, by all means, I love these platforms because I think there's a divine design. In order for these platforms to be available here, I'm so grateful because I get to chit chat with you here and spread light and love. But neurologically, our attention span, I mean, we're looking at like not even a minute. Okay. Not even a minute. Like, fix it. I want to get my fix. You look at the TikToks and the platforms, the shorts. I mean, even with these kids, they're going through, they can't even, there's no focus, there's no attention because of the way the platforms are designed, that when you're on your phone scrolling, you're literally, the serotonin and the dopamine releases are like, you wonder why there is attachment, because there's a neurological response. And um and so this process, this healing process, and really getting to know yourself, why you do the things you do and say, it doesn't just happen over a session or two. It doesn't just happen over a night or a week or a month. This is a lifelong practice. And we've been shown, and by all means, the doctors and the nurses and the therapists and the modern helpers here, they're doing what they know, and they're doing the best that they can. I hold space and I hold understanding and love. This isn't easy. This is a difficult world, especially when you're in modern medicine. This is a very difficult time to navigate the collective. And if we are trying to fix and heal and resolve and find solutions that are outside of ourselves, we've already, there's the miss there. We need to find the origin of our pain. We need to find the origin of our suffering. And that has to come with sitting with self. What is coming up for you? If you are triggered, if you are frustrated, if you feel grief because of a scenario, situation, if sitting with yourself, nurturing this part of yourself, being aware. So getting back to the four elements that are key for evolving, self-evolving, and ultimately going to self-compassion and self-love, because you cannot get out of this without love and compassion, without being able to sit with yourself and saying, wow, what I'm going through right now and what I've been through, what is coming up for me, the parts of me that are coming up. Shit, no wonder. This part is coming on to protect you. Your subconscious, it's all played in subconscious, is coming up for you to protect you from being harmed, from it's fear-based because of what it's been through. And so this work and what I'm here to deliver to the collective is helping you get aware with yourself, awareness, and then being able to number 2, help care for these parts of yourself, how to nurture them, how to have a different an evolved relationship with them, to get really curious and to set aside the shame. And number 3, this is a tough one. That's why I went off on a little bit of a tangent there in terms of attention ability, attention capacity. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm just trying to get over a little bit of the ascension symptoms there. Just, it's the time of I'm getting over a little bit of a cold here, trying to anyways. It comes and goes. So number 3, patience. Patience, patience, patience. If you cannot surrender to the patient part, and I feel like everybody has this. I know I'm guilty of it. The patience thing, holy crap, years fighting that. Years. Because if we showed patience, then there was room for error. If we showed patience and kind of sit back and trust and surrender to the process of being aware and caring for your parts, you're like, oh my goodness, I've been doing this for a couple months now. Sure, some there's no time here. This is not an until. This is because even when you do experience moments of healing and moments of these beautiful moments with your parts and with that inner child per se, you're going to be up having days and weeks and months of really being in gratitude and being in abundance and being in, but then it dips and it goes. This is the way it goes. Your suffering is shorter though. It looks a little bit different, and then you're aware of it, and then you be able to, the practice is awareness, being able to go into care, patience, and then the repair. You've got your patience, you've got your awareness, your care, your patience, and your repair. Okay, now repair, you'll hear me say words like healed, repair, evolve, and so, but it's ongoing. Healing, repair, but it's a different consciousness. That's why they say in your hearing, there's a raise in consciousness. A raise in consciousness meaning being conscious of what is going on for you, because you cannot show others authentic compassion and love until you give it to yourself. Being able to sit with yourself and being patient, because what's going to happen is when you go in and out of contrast, because there is contrast, there is hate, there is grief, there is revenge, there is doubt, and then there is love and happiness. Well, love is pretty extent, but even curiosity and sharing and being courteous and being patient with the ones around you, being able to lend a hand, donate, support, being of service, being creative. um there's pure, it's all here for us, and what we focus on, that's what we create more of. And just because we have days or hours or days that we are feeling low motivation or less energetic or feeling in doubt or symptoms of depression, that's your opportunity to sit back and say, that's your conscious compass, your intuition. is coming online. Your energy centers are coming online. Your higher self is coming online to say, pay attention here. Pay attention here for a second. You may get sick. I mean, for myself, I don't get sick very often, but the last week or two, I've been really busy, and it's like, oh no, you're not, and just like drained. But I've been doing this for a little bit now to say, oh, you know what? I really need some self care here, and we try to have that balance. But I don't attach the I am not the low motivation. I'm not the lack of motivation. I am not the anxiety. I'm experiencing it. This is the part that's coming on for me right now, but I am not it. So there's a little bit more of a seamless shift. You are not going to be in this realm, in this on this earth. This is the realm and the timeline that we are on right now, that there is going to be contrast. There's going to be suffering. There's going to be, and so when we are able to look at that and say, yes, this is an experience that is available on this timeline. But I am in charge on how I'm going to respond to it. And I'm talking about right from grief, heavy grief, all the way to enlightenment and love and surrendering and to trust. There's going to be days that, right now I'm feeling resentment. I'm being triggered by this individual's words or even just their energy. We're becoming more sensitive. We, as a collective, and that's what you're feeling too right now, we're becoming more empathetic. So we're feeling this. We all have it in us. All of us have it in us. And so we're really feeling that. But it's how we are showing up with ourselves when we're getting the ting, that notification. This is the motherboard. Our DNA has the nucleus. I mean, it's in us. It's in our cells, in our blood, in our beings, energetically. And then when we have our higher self and we've got source, God, whatever you want to call him, her, it's all irrelevance, all energy, but that's the purest form of love. And then when we give it to ourselves, that's self-love. We can give it to the collective. But even for myself, I am the healing helper. I am healing myself. I am repairing myself. I'm in the repairing phase. But I go back to awareness. I go back to it's cyclic. It's like it doesn't stay, you don't stay at repair. Just like the stages of change, you don't stay at maintenance. Okay, if you're familiar with the stages of change, you go in and out of contemplation and action and such. It's the same, this is the same wheel. Awareness, you repair, but then something else inevitably is going to come up for you. A contrast is going to come up for you. A trigger is going to come up for you. Feeling overwhelmed is going to come up for you. And then you care for that. Pay attention to it. That's the nurturing part of it. And then you're patient with yourself. And then you go into repair and then cycle back in. This is you see it in real time once you really start looking at the videos that I've uploaded. I've had my contrast, I've had my suffering. And this is part of it. But for me, my lens is a little bit different these days because I've literally been years, probably a good 3 years now, literally in this awareness, care, patience, repair, in this cycle here of the evolution, really, the conscious evolution. I've been able to now look at when suffering does come up for me as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to nurture myself or nurture the ones around me, being able to hold space, not fixing it for them. There's a difference there. I don't fix it for you. I don't fix it for me. I sit with it and allow it to go through me and allow it to, as I'm paying attention and caring for these parts of me, I'm able to hold space without judgment and attachment. So when I've got a little one, I've got 3 small children here, all under the age of 8. So when I absolutely have contrast that constantly comes up, I'm able to sit into these conversations with them. And in this pain and suffering that they're feeling, I'm not don't want to take that away from them because they have sovereign, they've got free will. They're their own souls and own individuals. But what I tell you I am able to do is I'm able to sit and hold uncompassionate love for them and not shame them or label them or try to get them to do something different. Be with self. What's coming up for you? You'll get the answers. Why are you coming up for me? And what other role would you like to have? And then, of course, being able to ground in nature. Now, these tools and mindfulness that comes in the practice, it's all secondary. Okay. It does absolutely hold importance, but you have to sit with self and awareness first in order for you to get to the care and the patience, that care and patience part. Then you be able to really incorporate Mother Gaia, sitting in nature, breathing and being with trees and water and all the elements, being able to look at self affirmations, being able to look at receiving guidance and support from a higher perspective, something greater than yourself. And I don't even like to say that. I know that goes around a lot, that something's greater than myself. Um, Nothing's greater than myself. Okay. Because I have it in me. I just forgot. We forgot. There was this, there was this amnesia that came on for the collective. But it's being able to trust that there is not just this logical mind that there's nothing else other than just this earth, and this is the body that you come in with, and that's it. It's done after that. That's when they say something greater than yourself. And I like to to me, it's co-facilitation. This is we're all and they're on their own ascension journeys in the higher realms, the star systems and such. And I'm not going to get too much into that on this one because we've got a couple minutes left here. But um, that's where we're heading, people. That's where and it's already here. It's not even that. That's where we're heading. Everybody's going to chime into um, phases and areas of their ascension journey. That's ascension is what you're hearing. Oh, there's 3D, 4D, 5D. It's that again. We got to be careful with what you're focusing on because you're looking outside of yourself for something to hang on to and provide you an answer and provide you a fix. But that's what your soul needs. But the real, even with me here and with us being here, um, without you fixing it for you, chiming in it for you, um, we are still operating on a level that is something outside of ourselves. We have to be aware inside before we experience some relief. That's the word that's coming in for me right now, is experiencing some relief, being able to look at that. Okay. That's a big one. We're just we're feeling overwhelmed right now. And and it's people are nervous, and it's the fear because they're separated from themselves. They're separated from what they're able to do within and how they're able to sit and nurture themselves. That's a vulnerable spot. People don't like to hear about this shit. It's not a, this is why they're called tough talks. I have the tough talks. And even my individuals, like you get into a few sessions with me, which you can book on Facebook. By the way, there are limited spots, but they're still there. People get into their third, fourth session, and they're like, like I did not expect this. I expected you to come in and really kind of give me tools, and have been through therapy before, and there was some tools, and yes, there was some help, absolutely, but this is different. This is a little bit, and I'm extremely uncomfortable, and my parts are coming on pretty much flipping you the bird. Why are we speaking to Melissa again? Because that part of you is there to protect you. And when you really nurture, it kind of releases, starts repairing. That's why the patience is so important. Starts to release a little bit of the grip that it has on you, because you're exhausted. You are exhausted and you are overwhelmed, you're tired. And as this time goes on, but at first, these parts, that's why it creates so much shame. It creates so much self-hate, because these parts of you are coming on and saying be and do and be present and be this person and fall within this identity, because you're gonna, this is the consequence. And it's, it's, that's the matrix, as we'd call it, right? That's the myth. Being able to get back to yourself and nurture as you get through, because it's tough. Like I said, these parts don't want to have these conversations with you, and there's shedding and there's tears. I mean, I've got individuals that I work with that hold very prestige, powerful positions, and they are they don't cry. They don't, if they cried, there would be consequences growing up. So that got ingrained and embedded into their core belief system. And when we really get to a point of feeling safe and love, it's and your parts want to shut it down. And I say this is very normal. Yeah. Yeah, you want to shut me down. Yes, you want to shut you want to shut it down. Yeah, why would, come on, this is change. People are not comfortable with change. Fuck that. We don't want change, but we want change. But people are getting a little bit twisted in terms of how we're going to get there. And we get there by going in. We only get there by going in. All right. So this was good. I'm hoping, and we'll see if this gets loaded properly. This is going to be my platform for going live, anyways, for Tough Talks every Thursday at noon. I also have my website. I've got my Facebook page. So catch me where you will. I will. I'm active on Facebook. That's predominantly where my platform is. You see here, I'm not active, but my higher self, my intuition, my notifications, internal notifications were getting very, very loud in regards to get over to YouTube. So here I am. I listened. I trust. It's a tough one, trusting, but that comes from me. Okay. And I've got a purpose here, and I send you so much love and the collective, so much light, and a reminder that you have everything in you, within you, in order to live in some peace and in some happiness, and experiencing some relief. So hold that for yourself. All right. All right. Bye for now. We'll see you next Thursday right here on Tough Talks. Take care.